Welcome everyone to DDMTG, two degenerate dudes talking about magic cards. I'm Zero.
And I'm Menelik.
And we will go over the new spoilers for Edge of Eternities. Definitely some degenerate shit in there.
Yeah, I will agree.
So let's get right into it. First off, we got Pulsar Squadron Ace. A creature human pilot for 2. When this creature enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a spacecraft card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So it's a 1/2 that could be a 2/3 if you don't find a spacecraft.
Yeah, I don't know how many spacecrafts are in this set. Are they many or?
Well, it is a completely new type, but I've seen, just from the things, I didn't look too much on the spoilers, but there are quite a few spacecrafts.
Okay, then it can provide value, but I think it's more of a draft card.
Yeah, definitely.
More than EDH card.
Yeah, definitely. Like top 5 in 100 cards, and It's just for one type, it's just for spacecraft, nothing else. I'd say draft.
Yes, I agree. Because you can also have the spacecraft cards as commander, and then you don't need the Pulsar Squadron Ace, I think.
Next up we got Sunstar Chaplain. Also a creature human cleric for 2. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. 2, and remove a counter from a target creature you control, tap target artifact or creature. 3/2 for 2 mana. Yeah. Pretty aggressive stats.
Yes, that's pretty nice for some macro decks or some decks that care about +1/+1 counters. I will see it.
Yeah, or even also, if you just have creatures that tap for something else, like for mana or for other abilities, you still get, it's just one counter, but you still get the value. And for me, especially that you don't need to tap, when you remove the counters, you don't need to tap it.
Yeah.
And you can tap down blockers, you can tap down utility artifacts of your opponent.
Yes, I see that. You can combine that with the ability where you can untap, and then you have some value with the untap. That was in Bloomberg, or where was that?
I think it was Bloomberg,
Put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield or something.
Oh, that bullshit was in Duskmourn.
Yeah, you can also tap your own creature for that ability.
Now that you say, yeah. Or other things like that just react when they get tapped, if it doesn't matter. Or also the one play, you just tap an opponent's City of Brass if they're at 1 life.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. It's just artifact or creature, so that won't work. Yes. But yeah, if you have something that needs to be tapped to have an effect, and you don't want to attack with it because it's too frail, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I see.
And especially with that aggressive stat line in white, I could see that.
Yeah, also in Commander.
Yeah, definitely. Some potential there. Then we have Rescue Skiff. Ooh. An artifact spacecraft for 6. When this spacecraft enters, return target creature or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that's already not too bad.
Yes.
The station, if you tap creatures, you get counters on it equal to the power of the creature you tap. And it becomes an artifact creature at 10+. And then it has flying and is a 5/6.
Okay. Just for the enter the battlefield trigger, I would see it also in Commander.
Definitely.
More than in draft, I think. But in draft, you have maybe not the ability to put cards in your graveyard from your deck or from your hand. But in Commander, you can discard an Omniscience or something, and for 6 mana, you can return it.
Yeah, that's definitely value.
Yes.
I mean, they did just ban the 1 card of the Omniscience combo deck in Standard, and they bring something right back. Okay, it's 6 instead of, I think it was 3 that you needed to get the Omniscience back. But still, It's still an easy way to get it back. And if you somehow get enough power on board, it's still a 5/6 flyer.
I would see it also in Blink decks.
That as well, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
If you can blink it or something, that could provide huge swings.
Yeah, or some multiple enter the battlefield triggers like
Elishnorn, yeah,
or something. I would see that also in Commander, and that is an uncommon.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not a creature right away, just like with the Gods of Pharaoh, where you need to have devotion. First, it's just an artifact. and there are other good interactions with artifacts. So yeah, I definitely see that in some EDH builds.
Yeah, I would also see that.
Reroute system. An instant for 1. Choose 1 target artifact or creature against indestructible until end of turn, or reroute system deals 2 damage to target tapped creature. Well, I mean, the indestructible for 1 at instant speed is always good to have.
Yes, but it's also versatile. You can also deal 2 damage to tapped creature if someone's attacking or so. I would see that more in draft because it has more cards for 1 to protect your creatures. Also in Commander, maybe something with rebound or so for 1, like Ephemerate for protection.
Yeah, or like the first protection, it costs more, but it protects your whole board and your life total.
Yes.
But definitely for draft, definitely good. And maybe even for standard, I could see it.
Yeah, in some decks.
Especially because it's artifact or creature.
Oh,
so you can also protect like your spacecrafts or your stations.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
It would also work with the other card we just looked at, where you can tap down creatures. If it's a small creature, first you tap it down with the other dude by removing a counter and paying 2. Then you play this and do 2 damage to the creature because it's tapped.
Yeah, but
so if you have something small,
you can tap it down and burn it away. But that's also, I would see that in draft.
Yeah, draft maybe standard.
Yes.
For Commander, a bit. I'd say for Commander it's not enough, but it's still a good card.
Yeah, because 2 damage doesn't do too much in Commander. Then you have only the first ability who does something.
Yeah, I'd say for like a small or just a budget mono white deck, or maybe even splashed white deck, I could see it in some cases, but not like an auto include like other things.
Yes, maybe in some kind of heroic decks where you have to target something for value.
That might work too, yeah.
Yeah, there I would see it.
Then we have Roving Acutor, an artifact creature robot for 4 with Void. Like Void is the new mechanic where you play it for some mana cost, and then it exiles itself at the end of turn, and you can play it for another cost later in the game. But let's see. So Void, when this creature enters, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn. Oh no, wait. Warp is the mechanic I'm talking about. Void is another one.
Yeah.
So let's do that over. Roving Accurator, an artifact creature robot for 4 with Void. When this creature enters, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped this turn, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard. Copy it. If you may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. I don't know. I mean, the stat line with 3/4 isn't too bad for a 4 mana creature. Also, that is an artifact, also helps a little bit. But I'd say if the card you can exile and cast for free, if the mana value was 3 or less, it would be much better.
Yeah, that would be much better.
But with 2 or less, I don't really see it.
Yeah, I don't also see it. But what's the ability? Warped.
Warped, yeah. Warped is the other new ability that is, you can play something for a cheaper mana cost. It enters the battlefield, and at end of turn it exiles itself, and then you can play it from exile for a higher mana cost.
Okay.
So I'd say the condition itself isn't that hard to meet with a non-land permanent leaving the battlefield.
Yeah.
But still, it's just the mana value 2 or less. If it would be free, definitely good.
Yes.
With 2, I'm not so sure about it.
Yeah, it does 2 less, if you ask me. So for 4 mana.
So I'm not sure about it. Like,
yeah, maybe also in draft, but I don't know how many spells there are.
Could maybe see it, but like especially now that Red has taken some hits in standard also.
Oh yeah, with Monstrous Rage.
Yeah, I don't really see it in standard anymore. Draft, maybe, depending on like what targets you have with mana value 2 or less.
Yeah, maybe you can play the spell that we looked before.
The one for 1 where you can give something indestructible.
Protection or removal.
Yeah,
but outside of that.
So I'd say for draft, okay, but everything else, if they're are some really good spells for 2, then maybe we could work with it. But as it is right now, I don't really see it.
No, I also not see that.
Then we have Sea Chip Root Tender. For 2 mana, you got a 2/3 creature insect citizen. A citizen, no, we also had citizens in some old Ravnicas, if I'm right. When this creature enters, mill 3 cards. And then for 5, you can sacrifice this creature, return target creature or spacecraft card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery.
Okay.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yes, I would see it in like a Marin deck or Carador or something where you profit from that you're milling yourself. Plus, it has a reanimation ability. For 5, it's not that bad, I think.
I mean, a reanimation spell for 5 is pretty much like the standard rate. If you go with like normal spells, I mean, reanimate, of course, the old-time classic. For 1, you can't beat that. But like, I think it's Zombify, I think, for 1 black and 4, that also reanimates a creature. I mean, okay, you have 1 color pip more, but it's still on the body. So early game, you still have a blocker, and with 2/3, you can still block 1 or 2/2 profitable.
Yeah, it's also 2/3. Yes.
And it can like mill something that you want to reanimate. You don't have to discard it. It doesn't have to be destroyed on your board. So I could see that. Like, not just in standard, but also commander. As you said, like with a Marin deck, definitely.
It sets up the ability below.
Yeah.
With the military.
It sets itself up for a good reanimation,
Yes.
So yeah, that looks interesting.
Yeah, I would see that.
I mean, even insect as a creature type, it's not the most profitable, I would say, but still there are some insect interactions that could be interesting in those colors.
Yes, I see that.
Then we got, oh my fucking god, how do you even speak that? Memnon, the right hand.
Memnon. That's hard to pronounce.
Then for 5, it's a legendary creature, Jellyfish Advisor. A fucking jellyfish, okay? I mean, we just had the SpongeBob Secret Lair, but really, guys, okay?
Jellyfish.
So for 5, it's a 3/4 legendary Jellyfish Advisor with flying. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast artifact spells from the top of your library, and artifacts you control have add blue. Spend this mana only to cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. Oh my. I mean, it's not an artifact itself, but already I have flashbacks to Urza when I read shit like that.
Yeah, but the mana is only spent for spells that anywhere other than your hand.
Yeah, but so you can cast artifacts from the top of your library.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah, you can
use that
cards.
to...
Yes, I see that.
I think it was Mystic Forge that also lets you play colorless spells from top of your library.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure...
Yeah. It's like the Future Side or something where you can play the spells from the top.
It's a bit more restrictive with just artifact spells.
Yes.
But I think if you just look at the other abilities, you want to play this in an artifact-heavy deck anyways.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
And also, it's just artifacts. So theoretically, you can also like tap your food tokens and stuff.
Yeah, or some treasures.
Without sacking them. You can just generate mana with treasures without sacking them. So
yeah, maybe I would see that in Ursa deck.
Definitely there, yeah. And also some other just artifact builds itself, like Breya, was it?
Yeah,
the 4 color.
Yes,
I could also see that. I mean, even your Thopters, if you don't use them like for a blocker or something, although I don't think you get around the timing restrictions.
Yeah,
you may cast artifact spells. If you have something that allows you to cast stuff with flash, then you might get around it. But I'm pretty sure it's just you would only be able to cast it with sorcery speed.
Yeah, I see that. I think that's a niche card for some artifact decks. Otherwise, also in draft, I don't know if you can use that properly. It's a little bit, yeah.
I think I would be disappointed if I opened this as my rare in a draft.
Yeah.
Since I'm not quite sure like how much value you can get out of it in standard or just in draft itself. But for commander, for some decks, I definitely see that being some part of, maybe even a part of a degenerate combo.
Yeah, I would also see that. But it's very niche, but it has its niche in like artifact decks.
Then we have Monoist Circuit Feeder. For 6 mana, a 4/4 artifact creature Nautilus. It reminds me of Baldur's Gate for some reason. Flying. When this creature enters, until end of turn, target creature you control gets +X/+0, and target creature an opponent controls gets -0/-X, where X is the number of artifacts you control. That could be, like for, as with the one before, in an artifact-heavy deck, it buffs your team, or at least one creature of your team, if you give it something with flying.
Yeah.
And it can be a removal spell as well for a creature of your opponent, depending on your artifact count. But 6 for a 4/4, even with flying, it's a bit heavy.
Yeah, that's a bit too much. Also for that ability, I think it's not that bad because you can give it at any creature. It doesn't have to be an artifact creature or something.
That's definitely a plus. That's definitely a plus side.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for 6 mana, it's too costly for that ability.
Yeah. And still, in draft, if you're like really managed to build an artifact-heavy deck as a top end, maybe, as I said, like if you really artifact-heavy, but if you don't have too many artifacts, for me, it just doesn't cut it.
Yeah, but in draft and in limited formats, removal are very important. I think I would also play it if I have 3 artifacts on the battlefield or something, because it counts itself also.
No, that's true. So at least you get a +1 and a -1 for your opponent.
Yes.
So at least you could maybe remove something really small, but I'd say like if it's your only artifact creature, probably find something better.
Yes.
Ooh. Weft Walking for 6 mana, an enchantment, a mythic at that.
Oh.
So let's see. When this enchantment enters, if you cast it, shuffle your hand and your graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards.
Holy shit.
The first spell each player casts during each of their turns may be cast without paying the mana cost.
Holy shit, man.
So, but the second ability is for each player. So that can backfire big time.
Yeah.
But still, you get a completely fresh hand if you cast it. And you get your graveyard also back into your library.
Yeah, I would see that in some kind of decks. I would maybe also in the Omnath deck, where you can, if you draw 7 cards and you can play the first spell for free, that can be insane. Well, if it's a cult or something. And
yeah, well, the thing is, you would get your first free cast only after full turn rotation.
Okay,
because if you cast it, this would already be your first spell each turn.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So you would get the second part after full rotation, and unless you take an extra turn or something. The first part is definitely nice.
Yes.
I'd say it reminds me of, help me, what's the name? It's not Time Twister. It's
I played in my mono blue deck. Time Spiral.
Time Spiral, yes. I mean, even the art reminds me a little bit like of something in that direction.
Yeah, I see that.
And I mean, it's the same mana cost. The first effect is the same as that, but as I said, the second ability is just a little bit risky for my taste.
Yeah, but I play also Show and Tell in my deck.
Yeah, but like
that's also risky.
Okay, it's also risky, but like it's once.
Yeah,
for each player, and this one is like each turn.
Yeah.
What I would see, but the thing is, Saratomi is banned. But if you had something out like that counters the first spell each opponent casts each turn, then it would be one-sided. Then it would be almost broken.
Yeah, I would also see if you can bounce that or phase it out in your turn until your next turn or something.
At the end of your turn, you phase it out until you're. That also would be pretty nice.
Or blink. I don't know if you can blink enchantments or so.
I'm pretty sure there are ways to do it.
Yes. Then I would see that because of the... no, you have to shuffle your hand also back. Huh?
Oh, you shuffle your hand. So, yeah, it's really like a Time Spiral.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, still, the first part looks so good. And then you read on, and then it's just like... I mean, like, let's say in a one-on-one, it's one thing. Like, it's like a show and tell. Like, they get one spell for free, and that's one thing. But in Commander, you play it, sure, you get a completely fresh hand and you get your graveyard back and everything, but 3 other people can cast something for free from their hand. So still that can backfire pretty drastically.
Yeah, but I see that as a good card because I can use it in my mono blue deck, because every card that I draw is more valuable than every card you can draw. And if I can cast an Omniscience of that in the turn cycle for free, it wins me the game.
Yeah, true.
But I think, that it's also very niche, I think.
Since it's an enchantment, it's a bit niche, it's a bit risky.
Yeah.
So I'd say, so for some
decks, yeah.
EDH decks, for some commander decks, I maybe see it, but for me personally, it would be a bit too risky.
Yeah,
like if you know
reward.
Against what you're playing,
yeah.
Okay. If you go in completely blind, like with new people that you never played against and you don't really know like how to build their decks, it can be pretty risky.
Yeah, high risk, high reward, I would call that.
Yeah, that is definitely a good description, yeah. Oh my god, what's that? Biomechan Engineer for 2 mana, 2/2 Insect Artificer. When this creature enters, create a Lander token. Lander tokens are also new. It's an artifact with 2 tap sacrifices tokens. Search your library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. Pretty nice, okay.
Yeah, these tokens are nice, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
you can ramp with them.
Yeah, I mean, it just searches basic lands. Would be a bit busted if it would search any land. But still, if you think about it, like, wasn't it like Clues? You get just a card. With this, you get a basic right into play.
Yeah.
So that's already pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then the other,
it's like a ramp spell.
Yeah, a cheap one at that.
Yeah, for 2 mana.
And yeah, it would be a Rampant Grove.
Yeah.
But even colorless, so you could even play it in some other decks. Like,
yeah,
okay, of course, not the card itself, but the Lander tokens.
Yeah, but I'm curious if that ability is on cards that aren't green. That would be nice.
That's a really good question.
Then we had ramp in other colors also.
Yeah. But what I already, if I just read this, what I already fear is if there are cards, white cards with Lander tokens, with all the token doubling white god in the last few sets. Like, I get 1 Lander token. Oh wait, I get 2. Oh wait, I get 3. Oh wait, I get 5.
Yeah. With the token doublers, it can be really...
Yeah, especially since if you get more
really
than you should get, like if you get 2 or 3, you can sack them at the end of your opponent's turn. If you have mana up and you don't need it for anything else, this is your turn, you untap it, and you can pay with the lands you search for the other Lander tokens you have.
Yeah.
So it snowballs. If you get more than 1 Lander token, it snowballs damn quick, I fear.
Yeah, I see that.
So
I see that.
Definitely interesting. Definitely some of the nicer tokens we got that you can produce, but I have the feeling that it could get out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, but I think it's only on green cards. I have so feeling. I didn't look at spoilers before, but I think it's only on the green cards.
We'll see. Maybe there are even some artifact cards. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, it's colorless.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah.
So the other ability for 8 mana. Okay, draw 2 cards and create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token.
Well,
I mean, 2 cards, 8 mana. It's a bit steep, but still, you can ramp with the landers you get.
Yeah. The
2/2 colorless robot is also a nice blocker to have, just like as an extra. But 4 mana for a card is a bit much.
Yeah, I don't... Also, this ability is too costly for me. I would say, yeah, maybe if you don't have anything to do, you can activate it, but otherwise you will ignore that ability, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the second ability is more like something you would do like in draft, where you have like much more time. Or maybe in Commander, if you have like a big mana deck and like really you already put out all your hand and you have nothing else to do, something then I could see it.
Infinite mana combos or something, then you can draw through your deck. But otherwise, I also don't see that card.
Then we have Sammy's Curiosity. For 1 green, it's a sorcery. You gain 2 life, create a Lander token.
Oh.
So we just talked about Lander tokens.
Yeah.
Those are artifacts you can pay 2 and tap to search for a basic land. those are really nice. I mean, it's somehow, I would say it's something akin to a rampant growth with a little bit of life, but you don't get the land card instantly.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure. Like if you like just for draft or for color fixing, I definitely see it. Maybe if you have like some kind of token doubler, then I see it more.
Yes.
Because you get more than one lander token. But like I'd say mostly for color fixing, not for...
If you draft 3 or more colors, that can be useful.
Definitely.
But otherwise, I think it's a little bit, it's a filler card. Maybe if you play against an aggro deck, a red-white or something, and you need life gain, and you have that card in your sideboard, you can board it in game 2, but otherwise it's a little bit too, it doesn't do too much.
Yeah. Still, as I said, for color fixing, or as you said, like maybe to get just a little bit more air against an aggro deck, but not for much more.
Yeah.
But still, landers, I definitely think those tokens are the most interesting ones we got in a long time.
Yes, I see it also.
So what do we have here? All Fates Stalker. For 4 mana, it's a creature, Drix Assistant. So Drix is also a new creature type. 2/3. When this creature enters, exile up to 1 target non-assassin creature until this creature leaves the battlefield. And it has Warp. So Warp is the new ability where you can cast it for a cheaper price, and then this creature exiles itself at the beginning of the next end step, and then you may cast it from exile for the normal cost. So you can exile something like a blocker or something out of the way for 2 mana, and they get it back at the end step. Or you can play it for 4, and then it gets exiled and you remove it.
It's like a temporary solution.
Like a Banisher, a Fiend
Hunter,
or Banisher Priest, but it costs 1 more mana.
Yeah.
But for that, you have the ability to just do it once for 1 turn.
Yeah.
To remove a blocker or something, or maybe even something that has like lots of counters on it, and when it comes back, it doesn't have counters anymore.
I think you can also use that like a blink.
That would also work.
You can also exile your own creature with that.
Yes, you're right, because it's just, you can target itself since it's an assassin, but you can also
blink
take one of your creatures.
Yeah. Something like a Tali or so.
Oh my god.
Then it returns back, and you get the ability 1 more time for 2 mana. But I don't see that in my deck. But you can use that like that if you want to.
I mean, I haven't seen too much from this set. I think there might be some combo shenanigans you could do with it, as you said, like just as a blink spell to get some extra value. It can be like a short time removal spell, like for a blocker of your opponent. And as I said, like if they have a big creature with lots of counters on them, then it could also just reset all those counters. But for like Commander itself, I don't really see it.
No.
But I'm pretty sure like in Standard, there will be some shenanigans with it.
No.
And especially also the flavor text. You again? Next up, Memorial Team Leader. For 4 mana, we got a 4/3 creature Kavu Soldier. Wow, yeah, the return of Kavus, yeah. During your turn, other creatures you control get +1/+0. And then it is also Warp 1. So you can buff your team for 2 mana just for 1 turn, for +1/+0, the whole team. Or you can have it permanently for 4 mana on a 4/3. I think, like, if the stat line would be reversed, like a 3/4, it would be better.
Yeah.
But I think that's just a Kavu thing. Like, if I remember correctly, like a lot of Kavus had more power than toughness. Like, they're aggressive hunting creatures.
Yes.
So lore-wise and everything, it makes sense. But I still think it would the other way around, the stat line would be better.
But with the new warp mechanic, you can play around some mass removal. Then if a mass removal comes and they are in exile, you can cast them back. You don't lose them.
So as I said, you have the ability just for 1 turn.
Yes.
But then you still have it like
Yeah, then you exile it at end of turn, and you
Yes.
can cast that. If you know the opponent plays some mass removal, is playing control, you can play these things for warp, get immediate value, and then
Still
you
have it
can
on the back
cast it,
burner
yeah.
for a later turn, yeah.
Yes.
Almost like, was it a Thunder Junction with a plot? Where
Yes.
you can pay for the cost up front and then you can play it on a later turn. I mean, there you had to pay the cost up front and then you could just play it for free on a later turn. With this, you still have to pay it, but even if they want to like rip apart your hand with some discard spells or something, well, it's already gone. You already have it like on the side. Like back in the day, you said like, yeah, your graveyard is an extension of your hand. Now you have plot, you have warp, you have all those things that is also an extension of your hand. So
that you should have the ability to remove cards from exile or something.
Well, there are like 2 or 3 cards that do that, like Pull from Eternity, but those are pretty specific and pretty far stretched. So, I mean, I see it in like either an aggro deck, or maybe of course, Kavu Tribal. Pretty sure that's something that will come up after this set.
So bracket 1, Kavu Tribal Commander.
Yeah, I could definitely see that,
Yeah.
But like for most other things, as I said, like for aggro, just like a short burst of power, I see it. But like for long term, I don't think this will be
4 mana is too much.
Yeah, like other than Kavu Tribal deck, I don't think this will be an all-star.
Maybe for some Enters the Battlefield triggers for creatures with power 4 or greater, I would see that also for 2 mana.
Yeah, but they just banned up the Beanstalk, so...
Yeah, okay.
Maybe that's the reason why they banned up the Beanstalk, because you played for warp for 2, you draw a card, it gets exiled, you played for 4 again, you draw a card. Yeah, so maybe they were onto something when they banned this card.
Yeah.